Over the years, you have had various editors working with you. What influence have they had on your writing?
I think an editor is an enormously important figure in the life of a writer. Sometimes you can strike it badly. I've had a couple really who tried to send my writing, to steer my writing in a particular direction, and that just turned me off completely. But there have been a few which have been more creative, more stimulating than the others. One was my ex-publisher, Quiz Human. We had a wonderful understanding of writing, not just what was there on the page, but what is hiding behind it and what could still be there. And he had a way of stimulating one into discovering what you really wanted to say. The other one was an English editor, John Blackwell, working at the time for Seker and Warburg. Unfortunately, he died much, much, much too young. But he was the sort of person who apparently the first day he went to school, the teacher asked them whether they could spell a word or come up with a word that started with the letter P. And he put up his little hand and he said pterodactyl. That is the sort of person he was. He could tell an author, would describe the way in which a certain pump worked in the 16th century in a certain part of Italy. That no, that's not the way it worked. In that part of Italy, in that particular period, this was the sort of pump they would use. And this incredible erudition, it is something without which a writer just cannot do.
You have become famous for your ability to write in Afrikaans and the Afrikaans and English versions of the novel at the same time. Can you elaborate on your remarkable process of writing?
It is a process which still fascinates me, and it is because it fascinates me that I keep on doing it. Initially, I was driven towards that by censorship, by the fact that Kennis van die Aand was banned, and I had to rewrite it in English in order to stay alive, to survive as a writer. But even long after censorship, it has now become so much part and parcel of the way in which I work that I can't do without it. Because every language becomes, to put it very simply, a kind of window through which one looks at the world. So if you look at the world through Afrikaans and English, you get different aspects of it illuminated. And when I write something in, say, Afrikaans and then rewrite it in English, the second time around I discover aspects which I missed simply because I'd been writing in another language. So I can change those things in the original, which I discover, say, via the English. And then in the process of rewriting the Afrikaans, I discover more about what I could and should have said in English. So it is a process which really can be never ending. But at a given moment I have to stop myself. But I continue to find it enormously fascinating.
Andre, it is sometimes forgotten that you are one of the most prolific and important Afrikaans dramatists of your generation. Have you ever considered writing for the English stage?
I think much more than fiction, writing for the stage suggests and demands a very intimate and specific relationship between the author and the living stage, the public. So inevitably, when I wrote my plays and felt for various reasons that I was closer to the Afrikaans theatrical experience then, my response to that in writing the Afrikaans plays was specifically and almost predictably in Afrikaans. So it has never occurred to me really to translate those into English or to write in English. Sometimes the idea comes to me, and I may still do that. I hope to be able to do a lot of different things still. But for me, writing in Afrikaans when I'm working with a stage has always been a very particular kind of necessity.
Have you ever discarded a whole piece of writing or discarded ideas with the aim of using them in later work?
Oh, that happens all the time. I have discarded quite a few completed novels, which I won't ever touch, and a couple of plays too, in fact, because somehow they just didn't work. And after trying and trying and trying, because I believe fervently in rewriting, that is to me where the real writing takes place. But if after 6 or 7 or 8 or 13 or 14 rewritings, if I can't get where I want to be, then I have discarded those. So yes, there are several of those in my drawer, and they are very happy there, and I wouldn't ever like to make them see the light of day.